The Inspector General of Police has suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari, the head of the Police Intelligence Response Team, from the service of the Nigeria Police Force, pending the outcome of an investigation in respect of his indictment by the Federal Bureau of Investigation of the United States regarding the probe of Ramon Abbas, popularly known as Hush Puppy, self-confessed international fraudster. According to the United States court documents, Hush Puppy alleged that he bribed Kyari to arrest one Vincent Chibuzo, a co-fraudster. The Instagram celebrity said he gave the top cop money to arrest and jail one of his rivals in Nigeria after a dispute over a $1.1 million scam on Qatari business persons. But Kyari has since denied any wrongdoing, saying he never collected money from Hush Puppy. Joining me to discuss this is a former Assistant Inspector General of Police, Chief Tunji Alapini. Good to have you on the program, Chief Alapini, retired Assistant Inspector General of Police. Good afternoon and welcome to This Day Live, the Sunday talk show, here on the Arise News channel.
Thank you very much. Nice to be with you.
Well, thank you very much, Chief Alapini. Very quickly, today we were told that the Inspector General of Police, after having set up a four-man committee to investigate the indictment of DCP Abba Kyari, the Police Service Commission also has recommended that he should be suspended. What are your views in terms of this, narrative about the connection between a Deputy Commissioner of Police and an indicted fraudster in the United States? And what would you recommend in terms of how due process should be followed?
Well, thank you very much, Ruben, and good to have me there. The issue on ground now, the trending issue is Abba Kyari, Hush Puppy, FBI, Nigeria Police, and Nigeria. And I looked at it from so many angles. I'm happy the Inspector General has written to the Police Service Commission for his suspension. That's long overdue. And I'm sure probably they were taking their time to look through the allegation being presented to them by the FBI. Because from what we gathered about all these incidents, these are things we all read in the media. It is not something that I have the papers with me. It is not what you have the papers with you. It is all what we are reading in the media that we are basing all our judgment, all our submission, all our discussions on. But be that as it may, since the Inspector General of Police has deemed it fit to recommend him for suspension, I think it's a good, though late, but it's a good thing. And at least it will go a long way to show to the FBI, the community, and to the public. We have a public that is always ready to put anybody on trial once it is in the public purview. And so the man is in public trial, is on an international view, and the FBI, the Americans, they are looking, they want to see what we are doing. So it's good he's been put on suspension so that it will give them a clear way for them to look into this matter. But as much as I would want them to look into this matter, I want them to look into it thoroughly. It took the Americans some months, a long time for them to come to the conclusion that, yes, we want to indict Abba Kyari. These people set up by the team set up by the Inspector General of Police should not rush, should take their time. Should take their time and go back through the same process, back through the same corridor from which this case came up, and make sure they go through and find and be thorough about it. They should not stampede themselves. They should go into every information that you and I have read in the newspapers. Because I don't have the facts from the American court. You don't have it. All we all have is what we've seen in the papers. So if we are basing all our arguments on that, everybody should go through that information in that to be able to arrive at something.
Well, but AIG Alapini retired. Now, what are the lessons, immediate preliminary lessons that we can draw from this? And how do other agencies, guard against this? Because it looks like the reputation of the Nigeria police is really at stake in this particular matter, whatever the outcome may be at the end of the day.
Well, right now, like you said, the reputation of the Nigerian police is at stake. The reputation of Nigeria itself is at stake. The reputation of Nigerians is at stake, in the sense that this incident comes up as against somebody that has been branded as a super cop, as somebody that has been celebrated. And people look at it as he has just been demystified. He has been made as a god within his environment. And the situation is such that we have to be careful where we are. He has been given high-profile cases. And you start wondering, most of these high-profile cases, we have to give it to him. He's been recording successes, obvious successes in most of these things. And you have to look at, if this man can record so much successes in various cases like this, what is wrong with the Nigerian police force? Are we zeroing in on individual, or are we trying to project individuals? And if we are projecting individual, that individual should be careful that whoever is pushing you to go on for that projection is likely to push you down. So I will advise anybody, as far as this revelation is concerned, for us to be very, very careful where we are. We have so many agencies like this all over in a setup to usurp police duties in the country, and they are all excelling. They have to check up. EFCC has to be careful. Bauer has to be careful on that seat. As he's doing good job, going up and down, arresting people for 419, he should be careful. All other areas, this is an example for others in similar situation to know that all eyes are on them. That no matter what they do, people are monitoring what is going on.
Well, I've had the view expressed, and this was credited to the Police Service Commission, that the United States, a court in the United States, cannot just on its own order the arrest of a serving police officer in another jurisdiction. Questions have been raised about sovereignty, and I've read comments saying, look, the Attorney General of the Federation will have to intervene in this matter. Well, when you have a situation like this in the Nigeria police, where an officer is indicted in another jurisdiction, what is due process? What is the due process that is involved? The Inspector General is talking about rule of law, but other people are saying due process. What is due process? Do you think that due process is being followed with the suspension, to start with, of the Deputy Commissioner of Police?
Well, Ruben, due process is being followed if we have to adopt this particular case we're talking about. Under normal circumstances, where such serious allegation is made against an officer, that officer is supposed to be on suspension. And when you are suspended, you are supposed to be within the locality where you are staying. It's just like when you are granted bail in court, the court will tell you you cannot move around, you must stay around the vicinity of the jurisdiction of the court. So you must be around the vicinity of where you are serving. Like if it's in Abuja now and you are suspended, you are supposed to be around there. Like in the service and the police, we have what we call confined to barracks. You'll be confined to barracks, confined to environment. Anytime you may be called to come and explain anything in terms of the investigation going on. So when they follow this kind of process, I think it's a right process, it's the right thing in the right direction. But at the same time, you have to consider Abba Kyari is a top police officer. He has committed, he's alleged to have committed an offense. If we look at the local content of the offense, if it is established as far as this country is concerned, he will be sanctioned as far as this country is concerned. That is my view. It is not my view that as a top officer, a top Nigerian police officer should be transferred and handed over to another foreign government. It should be investigated of his culpability in anything, whatever is written down there as his culpability, be investigated where he's found liable or complicit. If there is going to be any sanction for him, it should be sanctioned. Whatever is the outcome of that sanction should be relayed and forwarded to the order to the requesting authority or to the requesting country. But I will not recommend that a top police officer from Nigeria, for something that he has not committed in that country. If we are talking about something he has committed in that country, it's a different thing. We'll go through the normal process. But this is where the foreign mission, the Ministry of Justice, and should come in, put heads together, and look at this matter. But definitely, I will not recommend that an officer of the Nigerian Police Force should be handed over to another country.
No, but Chief Alapini, we're dealing here with international crime, aiding and abetting the conspiracy to commit fraud, cross-border, international crime. I mean, what message are you suggesting that the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, is sending to Nigeria? Because, look, what he's been accused of, conspiracy to commit fraud, we all know is cross-border, internet fraud. And then on the basis of that, are you saying that Nigeria should protect him?
I'm not saying Nigeria should protect him. If a team has been set up to try and look at the allegation against him, if a team has been set up, those who came to visit the IG to make the request or to make the complaint must have presented some papers in respect of what he has done or his culpability in certain malfeasance. The team set up to look into this should look at it through one by one. Like one of the most damaging aspects, besides the paying into an account presented by Kyari, was that he came to Dubai some time ago, and that he was a guest of Hush Puppy, and that Hush Puppy provided a vehicle to be taking him around and everything. The team should also confirm that aspect of it. At the end of the day, they should look at both their findings and the findings of the FBI, relate with the Attorney General of the Federation, the Foreign Office, our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, put heads together and decide on what to do. But not for somebody to just come. They have to take their time. Like I said earlier, we have to look at the message they have brought, and the messenger, those who have brought the message. What are their intentions besides what we all know? Or what we know on the surface might be this Hush Puppy incident. It might be something else. It might be more than that. We cannot conjecture. But that is my position in respect of that. We'll piece it together, and when they find that the team comes out with a finding, they should let the Ministry of Justice know. They should let the Foreign Office know, who will now decide on what line to take.
Well, Chief, Nigeria has an extradition agreement with the United States. If the United States decides to invoke that extradition agreement and demand specifically for the extradition of DCP Abba Kyari, what should be the response, both of the police and the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation? Are we bound to respect that extradition agreement?
Well, I think there's a procedure, there's a legal procedure for that request. And I think that legal procedure will be followed. And if it is followed to the letter, whatever comes out of it, at least will manifest itself and will be carried out. That's my view on that.
Yeah, but, well, one of the stories in the papers is, as we have heard, that Abba Kyari, DCP Abba Kyari, is saying that if there is any attempt to extradite him by the Nigerian authorities, by the Nigerian police, that he will sing like a canary. Well, I don't know. He has not denied that story that is out there. It's been out there within the last 48 hours. And the average Nigerian is saying, oh, this is proof positive that the Nigerian police is really corrupt and that there is no honest officer. And that indeed, look, what we have seen here is a collusion between the criminal establishment, the underground establishment, and the Nigerian police. You are a retired Assistant Inspector General of Police. How credible is that allegation that policemen work hand in hand with the underground?
Well, that has been the allegation. Kyari was alleged to have made that statement. I'm not in a position to confirm or deny whether he made that statement. If he, as far as I'm concerned, anybody who is falling into deep waters will always seek a momentary footing, even on sliding stones. So if we look at it from that angle, if he has anything, if he actually said so, and he has co-conspirators, because that's the new language in our environment now. If he has other co-conspirators that he wants to mention, by all means, we want to be clean. And that's why I said, whatever the team is going to muster together to investigate this allegation against Abba Kyari, they should make sure that they do a thorough investigation in respect of this. But for me to be able to speak about the culpability or the integrity of other police officers in respect of similar crime is open to conjecture. And it's not something I think I want to talk about.
Okay, but I mean, generally, Nigerians are concerned about the police in Nigeria. What do you think are the big issues with regard to the police in Nigeria? And what can we do to raise the profile of the Nigeria police and to ensure that they are more effective? You recall that in 2020, there was the anti-SARS protest, and the police was right at the center of it. How do we re-establish the police in Nigeria as a friend of the people? When we are told the police is your friend, most Nigerians will laugh. How can the Nigeria police become our friends again?
These are the top results.
Well, thank you very much, Ruben. I agree with you. There's been a lot of apathy against the Nigerian police force over the years. And the NSAS issue brought this thing to the fore. And as much as possible, I tried, when we are in service, we see a lot of things. When we come out of service, we see more, because we are now relating with members of the public to be able to appreciate their feelings, their appreciation, their suffering, and what they see in the hands of the police. And we bring this thing across to those authorities. Since we are no longer in service, there's a limit to what we can do. All we have to do is to advise them. And when we see things going wrong, we tell them this is going wrong. During NSAS, I know how much of my interaction I had with the former IG and the first public relations officer and other top officers in Abuja there. But the thing is, when you try to advise officers on seat about issues in relation to the police, it is better for them to have a little space in their head for other people's ideas. Not to just sit down there. When you go on, give them an advice, they say, "Oh God, don't worry, we're on top of the situation." When actually the situation is on top of them. They should look at everything you are telling them, to look at it from the angle of say, look, these our policemen we are trying to fight and trying to equip to make sure that they perform well. Let us talk to them. that they have to be civil to members of the public, to these people that they are serving. So we have to give them training and retraining as much as possible. We group all these officers and men, those who interact with you and I on the street, together to let them know, look, people are fighting for your welfare, for your future, for your comfort, to aid your performance. You should not discourage them by all this your behavior. I think they still need a lot to do in terms of sensitizing the serving policemen and be able to bring them together, like you said, to be friend to the police and to be friends to members of the public. But I think with all this that is happening now, I think it is high time the IG, which I believe this present IG, I think is willing to do something. If they have to send some of the men back to college to understand that, look, being on the street does not give you authority to be a bully to members of the public. You are going out there to serve members of the public. So if we do all this and we provide all the necessary things, like in Lagos, Lagos State is trying, some other states, some other governors are trying to make sure that they provide equipment, facilities to aid their district. But how do you repay those who are giving you all these services? The only way you can repay is to ensure that you are civil to the people you are supposed to protect. And I think with time, if the IG will sit up with the first PRO and all their management team and ensure that they continue to go around and talk to the men that members of the public are not happy with you. And if they're not happy with you, you cannot work in an environment that people are not happy with you. So that's my...
Yeah, Chief Alapini, before we go, just one more question. Do you think that DCP, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, will survive this, based on what you know about the police, an institution that you served for decades? Or you think it's already damaged fully?
Well, whatever we look at it, from if you wear a white cloth and somebody should not pour palm oil on the cloth,
that sounds familiar.
And you continue to walk about all over the place, no matter what, that your cloth is no longer white. The chances that I don't want to play God, but from what you and I have read as far as the matter is concerned, and I'm sure the team set up to look into this matter, what they are likely to find out may not be totally very different from what you and I have read in the papers. And when it comes to that, you and I can sing the non-dimitis.
Well, thank you very much, AIG Alapini, retired, for joining us on This Day Live, the Sunday talk show today. Thank you very much indeed.